Howdy, Aggie Land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya.
I don't know if I should give OB a hug or get upset with him. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So typically I have an idea of the direction I want to go this first segment. I have a little game plan of how I want to get into the conversation. But OB, as he always does, has good discussions with me right before the show, and he gives me ideas. Like he's just, hey, I read this, I saw this, I did, and it becomes a new conversation. I was already planning on discussing what he brought up to me, but in a different way. And I'm going to, by the way, it's the Go Hour with Olin Buchanan, our Heisman Trophy voter and columnist. So, OB, you brought up to me, yesterday was August the 4th, right? Mm-hmm. And all over social media, especially from Alabama fans, they were calling it A&M Day, right?
Yeah.
Because of 8-4, which, by the way, in Jimbo's time, they went 8-5 once and 8-4 last year. Okay, that's it. It's not like they've done that every year he's been here, but whatever.
One time against what is generally regarded as one of the most challenging schedules in the history of college football. I think you played 4 teams that were ranked number 1 at the time, I think, or at some time they were ranked number 1, and one time with your a rash of injuries that included your quarterback and your offensive line.
Right. So it's all over social media. Happy A&M Day, yada, 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 yada. And a guy that I really liked up until about 2 weeks ago got into the act as well. So take the story from here, Olin Buchanan.
Well, I wanted to send Ryan Fowler. This is the guy we're talking about. He's a Alabama cheerleader that moonlights as a radio guy, which is fine. I get it. If you're gonna want your team to win, you're gonna be a fan for that team. But there should be a certain amount of, journalistic integrity in where you actually look at things. I mean, this guy, I was on his show once, and he tried, before it was signed, sealed, and delivered, he tried to argue that Harvey Updike wasn't necessarily guilty of poisoning the Auburn trees.
How do you argue that? Did he have any points?
He had none, or he tried and I shot him down. Yeah. I said, dude, the dude called the radio show and was the only person who knew that they had been.
Was it Feinbaum he called?
Yeah. And then he said, well, yeah, but he was saying so. He was the only one who knew. Come on, give it up. But anyway.
I'm sure they knew each other from a family reunion or something.
So, anyway, so I wanted to, I was tempted to message him.
But you didn't.
And I didn't. I decided to take the high road, and I said, I'll wait. But I want to say, look, because I told him when we were in Atlanta, and he made some kind of comment. I said, if you guys would do your homework, then you would find, some we're talking about A&M, how A&M recruits, and how could they possibly, I said, if you guys do any homework, which I'm convinced that nobody in Alabama does any homework. I'm in Alabama media, but I saw their 40th in education, so it might be everybody. But anyway, if you would do any homework, then you would know what you're saying is preposterous, it's ridiculous. But so I was thinking, you know what? Just 2 years ago, A&M went 9-1 against 10 a 10-game schedule. Just 2 years ago, and they were 9-4. And you could say, well, but they're 8-4 in regular season. Does the last game count? Because I know when you've won national championship as Alabama, they've counted that last game.
Sure have.
Does the game count? So. So twice they've been 8-4 or 8 wins. Well, again, one time that year they national champion LSU, Georgia I think was number 1 at one time. Clemson, was number 1. I think the 5 teams they lost to all finished in the top 15. Okay, you have those years. And again, last year it was just Louis Bellina likes to call it, everybody's making excuses. Sometimes it's just facts. And when you lose your starting quarterback, usually you're going to have problems. When you have 2 freshmen have to be thrust into the lineup at offensive lineman, usually you're going to have some problems. So sometimes it's just facts. But anyway, I wanted to say, just 2 years ago, they won, again, 9 games in a 10-game season. They went 9-4 that first year. But that would require you to do some homework, and we've already established the fact that you don't do any homework. You just, say things off the cuff that make no sense. That just shows that you're ignorant. So, maybe you should consider actually doing some homework, trimming that awful beard, and eating a salad. And if it gets back to Ryan, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know. So what I'm telling you guys listening is whatever you do not go to Twitter and to Ryan C. Fowler on Twitter and say anything. I'm asking you, stop.
You know what?
Stop it.
I know you're being facetious, but I'm kind of like, don't do it. Don't take the bait on these guys.
Well, look, by the way, it's like the Zach thing when I talk about Calzada. Like, I really like Zach, but, he struggled. Ryan Fowler's a nice dude. Like, I like the guy. But, what happens in college football, which is why we love it, is that media members and fans feel like they've accomplished what the team has and the fans have. But we have not in the media, right? As members of the media, even though I am a fan of the team, I don't get credit for A&M winning the SEC title. People can congratulate me, right? They can win it. But it's not like I did anything, right? I'm just talking about it. And I think sometimes media act like, we did this. I dealt with it with the Boston media, with the Patriots and other places. And the bottom line is Alabama gets all the credit they deserve, but we are absolutely in their head for them to have media that constantly like to talk about Texas A&M. And you can admit one other thing, OB. We have not reached the pinnacle that we need to,
no.
and last season was underwhelming for the reasons we've pointed out. And you hope you get to a level where that doesn't matter. But by the way, outside of one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen, a backup quarterback typically is not going to win a national championship or win a lot of games for a team in the SEC. It just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, and I think they're just butthurt over the fact that A&M beat them, and Jimbo called it, and then they won in recruiting, and so now it's like, okay, I'm going to take shot, and that's fine. That's fine. What A&M should do is, I think, just lay low as far as that can, and just go out and keep trying to beat them again. But here's what my problem is. It's like everybody in Alabama, especially their media, like you said, it has nothing to do with it. And I think you even said it in Atlanta. You actually challenged some of those guys, not directly. Not directly.
No. I was serious, but I was kidding.
Right.
I was hoping they would be serious.
And was Ryan part of that crew?
He was, but Ryan and I were making eye contact in a friendly way. Okay. But I kind of said it to the other dude, I forgot how he brought it up, but if
probably knew you were there, so he's trying to
they were being
not
loud on
talk
purpose.
To you on, but
right. I wish Jimbo would try to slap Saban in a ring. What would happen then? And that's when I intervened. I know what would happen if I stepped in the ring with you guys.
Yeah, I would take the guy who's 14 years younger. But anyway, I already forgot what I was going to say. I got on this rant and. Well, I just kind of forgot where I had a senior moment.
It is beautiful though. Like honestly, this is what we love about college football. Even though it irritates me, it is what we love. Like, all right, dude, if we didn't matter, you're not talking about Vanderbilt. You're not talking about Auburn anymore. Who are you talking about? You're not talking about LSU. You're talking about Texas A&M, and there's a reason for that. And yes, 8-4 sucks.
Yeah, it's not acceptable.
Not acceptable. But I think you all know, with a quarterback, that season feels different.
Those Alabama media and Alabama fans, everybody think you're supposed. Even when you win, they're like, "Oh well, you got to kiss the ring." Well, you can kiss my butt. We're not going to kiss the ring. A&M's going to keep coming at you, and A&M's not going to win all the time. But I think A&M is at that point where it used to be with LSU and Alabama, and that you knew that if you were going to, as Alabama, that your primary threat was going to be LSU, and I think A&M's there now.
Yeah, A&M's there. And by the way, I'm going to spend the first part of the 9 o'clock talking to you why I think Alabama is vulnerable and why I don't think they're the best team in the country. And that is not a shot at Alabama. That is actually two things. Praise for Ohio State, because I think Ohio State's legit the number one team in the country. And also, it's praise for Texas A&M that they have narrowed the gap significantly. So what was a rebuild year for last year for Nick Saban, that is all relative based on who you're playing. And if A&M's defensive line...
why didn't he ever bring up the rebuild year during the year?
I think he talked about that we're not ready, but he didn't call it a rebuild.
He says that every year. We got this. He says that every year. I never heard anything about a rebuild year, when they were in the SEC championship game. I didn't hear anything about a rebuild year in the playoffs. I don't hear anything about a rebuild year in the national championship game.
I can't unhear the way you say playoffs.
Playoffs.
Every time. That's what I hear.
So, okay, now you got me all upset.
You got me upset.
I got my blood pressure up. I'm probably going to keel over here in a minute, just like I did at the gym.
If you do it during the break, I'll take care of you. But during the segment, I got to continue the segment.
I get it. But the show must go on.
The show must go on. Okay, that really scared me because it looked real. I was watching up there. All right, let's go around the room and say hello. Good morning, Dalton Hughes behind the glass. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm good.
I'm ornery.
He doesn't want to talk to us. I can tell. I can hear it in his voice. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Yeah, I had something else going.
All right.
I'll be back.
All right, thanks. Did you probably messaged me not to say hi to you? Oh, you did. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Stuff happens. I get it. You're busy.
All right, do your thing. Hey, and by the way, I do want to say this. So TexAgs promotes from within, and we have a great crew here. So Nick Savage has been working at the Zone, doing behind-the-scenes stuff for us, setting up everything that we do there from the Zone at AM 1150. He is now going to be joining us here at TexAgs in this building, doing kind of what Sam Kamen was doing, and he'll start here, I think, the 15th. So very happy about Nick Savage joining the crew.
Yeah, sure. I don't know Nick Savage.
You don't know him. You're going to know him. You're going to know him like you know. And he's kind of like, he's a little Sam. He's a good boy. Like,
good?
Yeah, I bet you he went to, he prayed this morning, goes every Sunday to church for sure.
Yeah.
My kind of guy, yeah. Good guy.
I'm probably going to offend him.
Yo, you already have.
Okay.
Yeah. So congratulations to Nick joining the crew, which means there might be a spot open there. If you want to work on this show, email me at Nuño or nuno@texags.com. I think we have a spot still available for people trying to work at the Zone on this show from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Email me if you've got time Monday through Friday, 7:45 to about 11:15 in the morning. We'd love to have you. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Emily Fiedler. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
Look at that smile. You're happy. Let's go.
I had my coffee this morning.
Yeah?
Got me.
That's all it takes.
Coffee.
How many coffees?
That's all it is. Just one.
Okay. That's all you need?
If I had two, I'd be sitting here like jittering the whole time.
All right.
Would not be good.
Like me?
Yes.
What's happening in the world of news?
So today's the third day of the fall camp, which means there's 29 days until Aggie football. And secondly, the Aggie baseball team earned the ABCA Team Academic Excellence Award. And then the Aggie Soccer Hour with Coach G begins on Monday at Rudy's Barbecue.
All right. Very good stuff there. Thank you very much. I was texting Coach G yesterday. We're going to get him here regularly, maybe in the next week or two, because they have I think they have a scrimmage next Thursday, I think in a week. So I need to confirm the date on that. But, yeah, we will absolutely talk to Coach G here. And we've got to get Coach Bird in here as well. Is volleyball going to be kicking off as well? Is kicking off? No. What would you say for volleyball?
Start,
yeah.
Serving.
They're going to start serving.
They're going to serve up volleyball?
Yeah. Serving for many years here. We're going to serve up some volleyball. When we come back here on TexAgs Radio, I do want to talk about 22 and 22. And I'll tell you, it's no dig at anybody, but it's a very good person, all right? Like, that's what I got to say. No digs. We're going to get into it here on TexAgs. But right now, are you digging it?
I'm digging it.
Yeah, I'm digging your vibe today. You got me going. I like that. We're talking Heritage Films right now. Chance McClain. That guy's all over social media. Go find Heritage Films. By the way, there's a different Heritage Films. Make sure you go to theheritagefilm.com. Don't go to the wrong guys. Go to the right guys. Guys that love Aggies. Guys that are paying the bills over across the street because he's got Gunn at Texas A&M, Chance's daughter. She's over there. She's in film as well. You've heard me talk about him. But he's just creative, and he does stories, and he loves Star Wars, and that has nothing to do with it. But he always told me to say, hey, when you talk about what we do, you don't have to talk about what we do. Just talk about me. It's what I do. He loves Star Wars. He loves telling stories, and he's so good at it. And he's been doing it for a long time, but he switched his focus because, he worked at the radio station that I was at many years ago. He helped start the morning show there at Sports Radio 610. He's done a lot of different things, right? And now he's doing Heritage Films along with the red carpet shows and the Broadway musicals he's done. And he loves telling stories about your family. He can be an eye in the sky, and he's done it. He did it for our family. He's done it for many people that I know, and I know he's done it for a lot of Aggies. In fact, when we first met, he's like, yeah, I feel like most of my customers are Aggies, man. It's a perfect fit to go with TexAgs. Since TexAgs has been a partner with Heritage Films, it keeps going up. It's like A&M 80%, everybody else 20% combined. Like, that's how it is. Aggies love telling their story. Check out yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. BCS Together invites you to support vulnerable kids and play in their charity golf tournament on Monday, August 15th at Pebble Creek Country Club. Visit bcstogether.org to learn more. The Better Business Bureau chapter that serves Brazos County is accepting nominations for this year's Torch Awards, which recognize businesses that demonstrate ethical practices. Nomination information is online at bbb.org/syntax-torch. The BCS Chamber of Commerce has partnered with the local blood bank to host a blood drive at the Eagle on Tuesday, August 16th. Find a link to sign up for an appointment on our community calendar at WTAW.com. You can listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Listen to TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, Chip Howard, or ESPN Radio, plus all your favorite A&M teams online at RadioAggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Optimum is here with award-winning internet, mobile, and TV to help you get closer and go farther with speed and reliability. So you can go from going live to going viral. Or go from riding pickups to riding bows. Or go from gamer to champion gamer. Or even from wannabe chef to professional chef. Go faster with Optimum's award-winning internet, combined with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction. Get the complete connectivity you deserve with 24/7 customer service, so your future is only a connection away. Sign up at Optimum.com or call 866-9-OPTIMUM today. Get closer, go farther.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
DJ K-Dub checking in. Previously on the Firebomb Show.
Hello, Pat.
The first time I ever saw you in person, you were in Jacksonville. I showed up with a sign that said Pat from Warner Robins, and it got shown on TV. We had some short conversations while y'all would go to commercial, but that was the first time I saw you in person, and I've been in love with you ever since, Paul.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah. So this is a wrestling song, Obi. I didn't pick it. This is a Dalton Hughes exclusive. Booker T, the wrestler. Are you familiar with his work? From Houston, by the way.
No, not really.
If you saw him, you'd be like, I know that dude.
Well, when did he wrestle?
I think he still does it sometimes.
See, that one.
But he's been doing it for like 25 years. He's a Hall of Famer.
See, I was more
the Claw.
Fritz von Erich, the master of the Iron Claw.
You know, I feel like Jerry West. Well, who did J.J. Redick go after? No.
Oh, he went after Bob Cousy, which was
Bob
one of
Cousy.
the dumbest things.
Yeah, but I feel like with wrestling, like the Von Erichs versus these mammoth men today, kind of feels like the same.
The
argument.
Von Erichs would have kicked their ass.
Well, the reason we chose Booker T there is because he always says, "Can you dig it?" That's what he says, right, Dalton? Can you dig it?
Oh, okay.
And
I got you.
He
I'm
also
following.
has a song with Bad Bunny by the way, that he says, "Can you dig it?" So I'm just telling you, like Bad Bunny's and everything.
Apparently.
It's TexAgs Radio.
Well, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to exercise my maturity at 60 years old and pass up the line that just flashed through my mind to avoid
flashing
getting in trouble.
maturity is a first.
So I'm just
lightning
let that
might strike
go.
this office.
I'm going to let that one go.
Yeah, we don't need any threats. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. A lot of you are texting the A&B text line. Thank you so much. There's some passion this morning. I like starting the morning off with a little passion. If you want to do that, we'll get into that in the next segment. 979-693-1150. You can also call us on the BCSI hotline at 979-693-1150. As I scramble to find my notes, it is now time to do 22. In 22, we have number 16, and it is brought to you by Factory Builder Stores, which is celebrating their new location there in College Station, 11907 Welborn Road, right next to the Ashley Furniture Outlet. Factory Builder Stores can service builders and the general public with locations throughout Texas, including right here in College Station. Go check out Liberty, Aggie class of 2019, and Wally out there. They're going to take great care of you and any of your appliance needs. They can supply more than 40 different brands of appliances and cabinets, and they've committed to getting you the very best products at the best price and providing you with superior customer service. They can outfit any job. They can work with virtually every builder here in town. You're dealing with local people, by the way, that do it the right way. It's Factory Builder Stores in College Station. Showroom open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 at Old Welborn Road in College Station. Check out factorybuilderstores.com. OB, number 16 is
Fidel Diggs.
Have you seen this guy's act at camp? He is a mammoth, strong human being.
Yeah, it looks like he's been inspired by you, since you've gotten here.
You give me
the
some
guy
props
is
sometimes.
looks like he's been in the. It looks like he came out of the womb pumping iron.
I remember him last year. This looks like he's done way more work in the offseason.
Yeah.
Like he is jacked.
He really is. Now, does that mean he's going to be a great football player? Not necessarily. But, you were talking about the guys that get your attention just physically and how, the next Michael Clemens, well, it could have been this guy because he's kind of got that look. I don't think he's as heavy as Michael, but you look at him and you say, golly, that's what a football player is supposed to look like.
That's what you're supposed to look like. He's got to prove it. But I look, it's interesting. There was more than Michael Clemens last year that caught my eye, but he's like the one I go to. But to be very honest with you, this year, there's a lot of those that I'm like, maybe it could be him. Because I said it was Chris Marshall. Overton caught my attention. The freaking tight ends all caught my attention. Fidel Diggs has caught my attention. There's a lot of strong human beings.
The way they're supposed to look, right? That's what happens when you have a great team. Now, what you have to have is a guy that plays as well as he looks, right? Yeah. And Fidel Diggs, this is all, what number are we on, 17? This is all based. 16. This is all based on projection because you can't base it on production. Last year, he had 9 tackles. I think he had 1 sack, and it was in the first game against Kent State. But, of course, he was behind DeMarvin Leal. You're not going to take DeMarvin Leal off the field if you can help it. So he's this guy that it's his time. It's his time. And I think about who was the guy that came in as I'm getting so bad at this, forgetting guys' names. He came in as a linebacker. They moved him to defensive end back in 07 or 08. Kid out of the Plano area. I'm embarrassed. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me later. And he was a guy that really hadn't done anything. And then he got his chance. And I think he tied for the SEC lead with 8.5 sacks with Montez Sweat from Mississippi State, who's still in the NFL. And he came out and just really, I want to say came out of nowhere, but exceeded all expectations. Well, I think Fidel Diggs can come in and make a similar splash. Here's a guy that hadn't done a whole lot yet, but now is his time. And everybody who's been really good, at some point they had to wait. They had to wait. They had to have their time. They had to wait for their time to come.
I think his time is now. And you team him up with Rockadelier. Sorry.
Rock.
No, I think
I love that.
I do. But those guys together, and just what is. Again, he is so strong, and when you see him move around, the quickness and the ability to get to the QBs, He hasn't played a lot, and that is something he's got to prove.
Landis Durham was the guy I was trying to come up with.
He hasn't played a lot. He's got to prove it. But I think physically all the tools are there. And again, I love to use the coach as the barometer. Is Jimbo just going to tell you something just to tell you something? Or is he going to tell you something because he sees something? And he sees something with these guys.
Yeah, I think Jimbo's always been pretty honest with us. Now, the one thing that would give me pause is he would say, well, Zach Calzada is going to be an NFL quarterback, or he has an NFL. And then you think, well, I didn't see that except for one game.
Right.
So maybe Zach does have NFL ability. It just needs to get it, still honed and get more of his mental side of the game under control. So maybe that's what he was talking about. But I can't remember another time when Jimbo has talked about a player individually that you felt like he was just, I don't know, blowing smoke.
Well, I do want to remind everybody what we went through last season with our 3 major sports teams. The maturation of in-season. We saw it in football, and I'm not talking about the last 2 losses of the year. I'm just talking about the team that lined up and started against Arkansas. By the time you got to Alabama, Auburn, Missouri, and beyond was a different team. The offensive line had learned how to be a much better unit. Everybody grew up, right? Zach Calzada grew up in a way. Lots of people grew up. Basketball, that team looked pretty good, but they hadn't played anybody. Then they went through that huge dry spell. Then they grew as the season went on and was one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in all of college basketball. Baseball, same story. They started off a little rough. They found their way as SEC play, and they finished the season the number 3 ranked team in the country. You can grow during a season, and with this team, with the potential and the talent that's already there, you take care of business early on. By the time you get through the Miami game, hopefully you got another victory there. We're talking about a different team come Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to continue to get better, but I think they're going to be good from the beginning.
Let's hope. They need to. There's no mulligans this year. It's all in.
With the exception of UMass, but when the projected weakest team on your schedule, with the exception of UMass, is Sam Houston. And I know it was FCS, but we're talking about a team that's been a national championship contender at their level. And that's supposed to be the easy game? I think that tells you what a challenging schedule you have. Now, it's not like it was, 2018 or 2019. But, but I think that's a great thing because they have good players. And a guy like Fidel Diggs, a guy you're counting on, a guy that needs to be a good player for you, find out, what it's going to be like to really work.
Yeah.
To play some guys that are actually pretty good. I go back. I don't mean to crack on this guy, but I go back to the season opener, like 2016. I may have the year wrong, against Arizona State, and Deshaun Hall just obliterates this guy, this right tackle who was clearly over his head, and he gets 4 sacks. And I don't know that Deshaun got a sack the rest of the year. I know he did, but I can't remember it. So I don't want to, I guess what I'm getting at is you don't want this guy that you really counting on to be really good for you to just have an easy opening game and then think, okay, this is how it's going to be, and then disappear the rest of the year.
Right.
Get challenged, get a taste of what you got to do, how it's going to be like, and consistently get better.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. There's a lot of text messages we got to get into, and then some chat on the YouTube page and on TexAgs.com. But right now we're talking about the Association of Former Students. Randy just texted me. It looks like they're going to come by on Wednesday of next week to give us an update on Aggie Park. I saw some pictures online yesterday. Somebody tweeted out some pictures. Oh, I cannot wait for that first time to go walk it and head into Kyle Field. It's going to be a beautiful experience. But you know what the association does. They give back. They gave Aggie Park to the university. They continue to give to Aggies all around the world. That is what they do. They've been doing it for over 140 years, and they do it for people just like you. Aggies, current students, former students, you name it, they love to give back, and they have collected a bunch of these stories on IamTheWhy.com because that's their why. Their why is to give to people just like you. And they've got their stories of what they went through at A&M and beyond. Some of the tough times, some of the great times, all put together in like this YouTube feel to it where you can watch human interest stories about Aggies there on IamTheWhy.com. Check out IamTheWhy.com. It is the association of former students. They've been doing it a long time. They're going to continue to do it. IamTheWhy.com.
We once had Olin do push-ups on air for good radio. Go figure.
Are you ready?
Let's begin. TexAgs Radio with David Nuño. Weekdays on The Zone.
Factory Builder Stores is your local hometown appliance store, serving builders, remodelers, designers, and savvy homeowners too. Come shop the new Factory Builder Store showroom in College Station, featuring brands like Thermador, Bosch, and so many more. With years of experience and superior customer service, their knowledgeable team will help you make the right decisions on appliances for your home. Factory Builder Stores open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Visit their brand new location at Welborn Road at Navarro in College Station.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting Half-Price Tuition Program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Renner Academy, Sunshine School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Big deals. Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Scott Satterfield, Louisville head coach.
We're in a city where we feel like we can have some great opportunities for our student athletes here. And there's a lot of great businesses here that want to get involved and that have gotten involved.
John Lester, former Major League Baseball pitcher, three-time World Series champ.
There's people that you meet along the way that just have that kind of it factor, that aura about them, that presence. And David was, I think, the persona of that. You know, he was Big Papi.
Lorenzo Alexander, former Buffalo Bill.
I wouldn't say bust, but I do expect this team to make a run and go deep, at least get to the Super Bowl.
Marcus Freeman, head coach of Notre Dame football.
They're not going to put us in a position where we're going to hurt our university or our football team. If that becomes the case, I'm sure we'll have to join the conference. But until that point, we're going to continue to be independent.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
I'm having fun. This is going to be a great segment. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Let me just tell you something that I won't do. On August 5th, a month or so before the season starts, I am not listening to other schools' shows, waiting for the opportunity to be like, got him. They're talking about Ryan Fowler. We got him now. Let's go, Ryan. I'm not, like, seriously. So I was alerted on Twitter that apparently somebody who likes Alabama, who probably a very nice guy, Marcus, alerted Ryan Fowler and Drew DeArmond, who spoke very highly of you, by the way, that we're talking about him. And this Olin Buchanan fellow.
This fella. That guy that asked.
He's talking down about you. Please call them.
Yeah. I don't care.
So,
look, you know, there's this guy in Atlanta, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, named Mike Griffin. I met him in Destin.
Is he the dude who was on Feinbaum yesterday? Yeah, never heard of him.
He's Atlanta Journal, and he said, first of all, that day he got on Feinbaum and said that A&M was this rogue program, and he brought up things from the Southwest Conference. So I went in and I said, listen, I want to invite you to come on our program and debate this. And he said, no, I don't do that. I said, what do you mean you don't do that? You just did it on. He said, no, there's nothing that I can gain from that. And besides that, my paper has told me, that I need to, be careful about doing things. And I'm like, and I said, okay, but I'm thinking in my mind, what a coward. So if Ryan Fowler wants to call me up and I'll tell him the same things I just said, because I'm not going to hide from it, then I'll go on a show and I'll say the same things I just said. Because again, I'm not a coward. I'm not a guy that's going to make comments about you, and then if you call me up to call me on it, I'm not going to go, oh, no, I just want to say it.
I think you enjoy confrontation, OB.
I don't know if I necessarily enjoy it.
I do. I like it.
But I'm not afraid of it. I'm kind of like Jimbo when he said it. Of course, he might have said that he kind of likes it.
I like it.
Let
me rephrase it. If I can win, I really like it.
I think I've just gotten so crotchety in my old age that I've gotten to that point where I just don't like to take the crap anymore. And if you're gonna be that, if that's who you are, then I'm fine with just scraping it off on the curb.
Well, since Marcus is listening and he's reporting back to the Alabama folks, and he's not the only one. First off, I want to thank him for paying our bills, because for every Alabama listener, we have this thing on our algorithm that pays us more money. So I appreciate that. Tell your friends to continue to listen. I don't like the week of a game. I get it. I would be like, you know what? Let's see what Alabama's saying, right? And we may listen into an Alabama show next week and just listen in and see what they're talking about. We may do that. I need to call Raheel so we can come up with that skit. But that being said, I don't listen to them a couple months before the game just to hear what they're saying. But if they are going to listen, look, A&M did not have a good year last year, and they beat Alabama. Oh my God, how did they do that? They did beat Alabama. 8-4. How many times has Jimbo gone 8-4 here?
Twice.
And
now, if you want to limit it again to the regular season, then they went 8-4 the first. But once again, I see Alabama always seems to count their postseason games in their record.
They sure do. So I guess they should count last season's loss, or did they win?
Oh, no, they lost.
Okay.
That.
Look, I have a lot of respect for Nick Saban because he is the best. He is. And I'm sorry that A&M has not won a national championship and we haven't reached the pinnacle that we need to. But I think it's obvious. You hear us.
I admire Nick Saban and the Alabama program, and other than when he's making false allegations that he can't back up, or coming up with excuses why you lost, which he does whenever they lose. And if you're the greatest, you really shouldn't have to do that. Just take your L and move on.
Yep.
But other than that, I envy Alabama and their success.
It's been fantastic.
I absolutely. I have no issue with the players. I have no issue with the program or the coach, other than take his L.
There's supposed to be rivalries.
But
like this,
I think their fan base, and now as I've been around it more, the Alabama media is just. I don't have a lot of admiration or respect for them. How can you respect a fan base again that a guy poisons trees, another guy puts his nads on a guy that's passed out? And remember, when you saw that video, there had to be 50 at least Alabama fans around him videoing it, and no one told that guy, "Hey, you don't want to do this."
That's not a good idea.
Or shooting somebody because they're not upset enough that your team lost. So I don't know how you can respect that fan base. I don't.
Yeah.
So you can tell Ryan Fowler that too.
Yeah.
Marcus.
Look, it is what it is. We'll see on October 8th, right?
Yeah.
And congratulations on all the championships your program has won. Our program hopes to do it. Great. Guess what?
But we're not going to kiss the ring.
I was about to say something I don't normally say. By the way, let's go to the News and Social Center. Emily Fiedler there has got a lot of text messages to get into. Thank you to Alabama fans for listening.
Yes, a lot of text messages to get into. So the first one is Spencer in Denver, and he says, the problem Alabama has, they know A&M is not going away. All that money, those numbers are getting bigger. Jimbo does not operate from fear.
No, he does not.
No.
He doesn't.
Nor should he.
What else do you have, Emily?
And then from Dale, he says, why are Alabama fans more obsessed with Texas A&M than Georgia?
Because they got their ass beat, that's why. And in recruiting, too.
Are they worried that Jimbo and the team will do it again?
Hell yeah.
Look, there is competition in the SEC West. There is absolute competition. You can still be a powerhouse and look in your back and see, all right, this team is starting to catch up. and the talent-wise, it's starting to catch up. And, oh, by the way, they beat them last year. That should, if it doesn't catch your attention, then good. I hope it doesn't.
Well, it obviously has caught Nick Saban's attention, which is why he was asking his donors to give him money so he can pay guys through NIL and do the exact thing that he was accusing A&M of doing.
Emily? Hi there.
Chase in College Station says, I have to play the devil's advocate here. Jimbo was completely unprepared at quarterback last year. We can't use the backup quarterback argument when
that's stupid. You shouldn't even finish that. Almost every team will struggle if they lose their number one quarterback, and and to say he should be prepared. So, are you not aware of what college football is like now? Yeah, there's one or two programs that will be able to sustain themselves if they lose an opening starting quarterback. But it wasn't just. Why can't anybody? I can understand it maybe if you don't follow Texas A&M that you don't get this. But if you're here and you're following A&M, why is it so hard to understand that it wasn't just the quarterback position? It was the receiver position where you had all kinds of injuries. You started two freshmen in the offensive line and a guy who played the whole year hurt with Jameer Johnson. And you had a true freshman at cornerback. Why is that so hard to understand? I don't like excuses either, but I can also step back and look at facts.
Look,
why is that so hard to look at the facts of what happened last year?
I would say the argument, at least from the quarterback perspective, was it was a quarterback competition up until it wasn't, right? And that they were very close until, what was it, the 25th, that they announced that Haynes would be the starter. But the reality was Zach didn't perform the way he should have. He did not seem ready.
The reality is 95% of teams in college football, because of the way that you transfer now, the reality is, and I guess it frustrates me that A&M fans can't seem to get this, but the reality is that in 95% of the cases, the drop-off between your number one quarterback and your number two is going to be significant. You're not typically going to be able to keep a great quarterback around as a backup.
Yeah.
And Stowers got hurt. He was a true freshman. And you had Calzada. And so you knew that Stowers was going to get hurt. I guess you knew that Calzada was not going to be there mentally. You knew Haynes was going to get hurt. What team, with the exception of Alabama and I guess Oklahoma a couple of years ago, and I can think of Ohio State one year in the national championship year when all they had to do was turn around and give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
If you're so overpowering everywhere else, you can get by with an average quarterback.
And you could say Georgia last season.
Georgia's an example. Yeah. But 95% of the teams, you lose your starting quarterback, you're going to have trouble.
There's a bite that Jimbo had the other day that he said, I don't know who's going to win the national championship, but I know what they look like. And part of it was quarterback play, big, strong in the trenches. And, oh, by the way, it looks like A&M's building that.
See, I interrupted Emily when she was giving that. And that just goes back to me saying, I'm at that age now. I've gotten so crotchety that I just don't want to like to put up with the nonsense. If you want to have an intelligent conversation where you just take all the facts into play. It's like when I argue with the people over at Texas about certain, you're afraid of playing Texas. I say, look at the facts. Just look at the fact. I don't have to go based on my feelings because I'll just put the facts out there. The facts would, why would I be afraid to play Texas? Because I'm playing Alabama, LSU, and Auburn, but I'm afraid to play Texas. Factually, that doesn't make sense. If you want to say that, hey, your backup quarterback should be excellent today in today's game, in today's college football, the way they transfer, then you're hoping for the best.
By the way, if A.J. McCarron were to go down that first year, there was no guarantee that Bryce Young was going to be the Bryce Young we saw last year.
Well, just a couple of years ago when what's his name? I think it was Tua Tagovailoa got hurt against LSU, and they lost that game. And everybody at Alabama said, well, if Tua hadn't gotten hurt, they're even saying about their receivers last year. Well, if their receivers hadn't gotten hurt, they would have won the national championship. Well, so Texas used to say, well, if Colt McCoy hadn't gotten hurt, they would have won the national championship. You know, if Dennis Dixon, if he hadn't gotten hurt, Oregon would have won the national, and they would have, by the way, in 2007. You can just go on and on. I can remember Sumlin, when he was at Houston, had Case Keenum and somebody else. Case got hurt, and they ended up having a losing season. It's how it goes. Clemson was in a really let's say, I don't want to say weak, mediocre ACC, right? A couple of years ago. They lost to Notre Dame when Trevor Lawrence got hurt.
Right.
They had to put in their backup, and they lost. Got their starter back in, they won.
They won, yeah. That's the story. That is the story. All right, we got to hit a break here. When we come back, we'll get into what do we got going up? We've got bank on it, OB. So bank on something, because I'm banking on some stuff. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Trail Life Troop 1836 is hosting an open house on Tuesday, August 16th at 6:30 p.m. at Holy Cross Lutheran Church. Trail Life USA is a Christian outdoor adventure organization for boys and young men. Find them on Facebook for more information. Brazos Valley Troop invites you to audition for the world premiere of a brand new play. Murder at Play is a murder mystery play within a play. Auditions will be held at Brazos Valley Troop August 15th through the 17th at 6:30 p.m. Email trooperinfo@gmail.com for an audition packet. Hundreds of books geared to young readers will go on sale Saturday, August 20th at the Mounts Library in downtown Bryan. Doors open to members of the Bryan College Station Friends of the Library at 9 a.m. and the general public at 10 a.m. Every Thursday night when the Brazos Valley Bombers are home, it's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by The Zone. $1 beer, soda, or water. It's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by The Zone. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Optimum is here with award-winning internet, mobile, and TV to help you get closer and go farther with speed and reliability. So you can go from going live to going viral. Or go from riding pickups to riding bows. Or go from gamer to champion gamer. Or even from wannabe chef to professional chef. Go faster with Optimum's award-winning internet, combined with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction. Get the complete connectivity you deserve with 24/7 customer service, so your future is only a connection away. Sign up at Optimum.com or call 866-9-OPTIMUM today. Get closer, go farther.
If you bleed blue, green, maroon, or purple, M&M Apparel can help you show your school pride with spirit wear for Bryan, Rudder, Consolidated, and College Station high schools. Stop into M&M Apparel's huge showroom, filled with a wide variety of t-shirts, hoodies, caps, visors, polo shirts, jackets, spirit flags, bougie beats, headbands, stadium chairs, tumblers, blankets, duffel bags, and backpacks. They can also personalize your purchase with a player's name and number. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. M&M Apparel on Welsh Avenue, just north of A&M Consolidated High School.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
What's the GOAT day of the week, Diana? Best day of the week?
Best day of the week, Di.
I'm a Sunday girl. When it's the off season and I don't have a game, I think I cherish the day so much when I'm with my family and when I'm hanging out, I get to sleep in and I have my coffee and I go for a nice walk in the morning. I'm like listening to myself. I sound like I'm 87.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on The Zone.
I woke up the beast. I'm sorry, fellas. Just keep your eyes on social media. Get on Twitter. I'm just saying it. TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. There's a little tweeting going back and forth, and it's about to get real here on TexAgs. And it's all fun and games. But, you know, we're going to have to go there to Alabama here in a couple months. It'll be interesting to see how, if the media takes it more personal than the players do. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. If you want to text the show, you can do that on the A&B text line. You're going to say something.
I've just always, my background has always been, if you're going to have, and that's why I asked Nick Saban, but if you're in the media especially, where you're supposed to have, and I guess I'm using that that loosely when I'm talking about Alabama radio. But if you're going to be in the media, I'm still from the old school where if you're going to make an allegation, you damn sure better have something to back it up with, something concrete. You know, it's like if I went into a restaurant and saw Ryan Fowler there with a woman that's not his wife, and I don't know if he's married, but let's assume he is, and I just come to the exclusion, oh, you're cheating on your wife. Well, maybe there's an explanation for it. You know, maybe it's his sister. Maybe it's a cousin.
There was a joke there.
Maybe it's, maybe it's, you know, a job interview. Maybe she's blind. You know, it could be any of those.
Maybe she's blind?
Well, she's with Ryan. But, you know, maybe it could be any of those things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
Find out. And unless I have proof that something nefarious is going on, then why am I going to make that accusation?
Because it gets his clicks and his retweets and his fan base riled up.
So my issue really isn't just with Ryan, but it's with today's media that will make accusations without having any concrete
and then their
evidence.
base.
And I even asked his coach, what was your evidence? Well, I didn't say they did anything. Oh, no, you said they bought their entire class. Well, then he got all frustrated, and I said, oh, is he a liar? All those things, and, you know, he had no evidence. There is none because they don't have to.
I got to bank on it real quick, presented by Vera Bank. Authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. You can learn more at verabank.com. You want to bank on anything, Obi?
Yeah, I can bank on it. If they, you know what? If they call me and ask me to be on their show, you can bank on that I'll go on the show and I'll tell them the same things I said now. I ain't scared.
You've never been scared?
I've been scared, but not of voicing my opinion.
And
I'm scared of my wife.
Well, you should be. I've seen her get mad. She runs that family. I'm banking on a couple of wide receiver young guys, and I don't put Evan Stewart in this conversation because Evan Stewart to me is a veteran, even though he's not. Like, he's got to do it in a game, I know, but like he just acts, walks, talks like a veteran. But I'm saying that Noah Thomas and Chris Marshall, they're going to push some of these veterans. Like, they're going to keep moving up the depth chart, and I don't know at what point this season you're going to be talking about those guys in game time and be like, oh my, Chris Marshall did that. Noah Thomas did that. I'm banking on those two. OB, I'd say goodbye, but I have a feeling there could be more that happens during the break. So goodbye, but maybe I'll see you in a few.
It's up to you, man.
You know what? Let's get some more OB.
I got nothing going on today.
Let's just do some more OB.
I didn't know. No, I woke up in a decent mood today. I mean, I didn't get a lot of sleep, but I didn't know I was going to get all worked up.
Yeah, well, all right. We'll keep it going here. I kind of like it. It is the Go Hour with OB extended for a little bit. When we come back, we'll get to your text messages and your phone calls. I see a bunch of you still out there. Sean and Brian, Ron, iDoc, Mike, Sutton. We'll get to you. It's TexAgs Radio.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. Follow us on Twitter at Zone 1150. Get connected now. Now. With the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, this is a news update on the Zone. College Station police has made one arrest. An arrest warrant's been issued for a second person, and 3 others are sought for questioning following gunfire Wednesday morning. According to CSPD arrest reports, the incident on Hollick Drive south of Holloman resulted in one man being shot in the abdomen and another man who was struck in the head with a pistol. The man who was pistol whipped, 20-year-old Antoine Moreno of College Station, was arrested for hiding 2 guns behind a tree in the area of the gunfire and theft of a firearm. Names of those who are sought by CSPD are at WTAW.com. The president of the Community Foundation of the Brazos Valley estimates there are more than 1,800 nonprofit agencies. Patricia Gerling says as the application period begins for the 4th annual Day of Giving, the goal is for 165 participants to raise $1 million.
One of the benefits for participating in Brazos Valley Gives for a nonprofit is it raises a lot of awareness for the good work that they're doing.
Last year, 154 agencies received a combined $928,000 and more than 11,000 volunteer hours. 501c3 agencies in the 7-county service area can apply online at brazosvalleygives.org. Bryan Broadcasting news anchor and reporter Chelsea Reber receives an award from the Texas Association of Broadcasters. TAB's Jason Hightower Award named for a former WTAW part-time employee who graduated at Texas A&M and was the owner of a radio station in East Texas when he died of brain cancer at the age of 37.
Bryan Broadcasting offers something that our community cannot get anywhere else, and I am incredibly proud to be a part of that. Jason Hightower once called Bryan Broadcasting home, and that makes this recognition that much more special.
The award recognizes individuals with at least 10 years' experience in the broadcast industry who have demonstrated a proficiency for enterprise and innovation and servicing their station's audience, advertisers, and communities. And that's news on the Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $12.99 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Thursday marked day 2 of fall camp for Texas A&M football. The Aggies have quite the quarterback battle on their hands, with veterans Max Johnson and Haynes King duking it out, along with freshman phenom Connor Wigman. Coach Jimbo Fisher was asked what characteristics he's looking for in a QB1.
Who's going to win the national championship? You don't know. But I tell you this, you know what they're going to look like. You know what they're going to do on the field. It's going to be physical line of scrimmage. They're going to create big plays. They're going to be able to not have self-inflicted wounds and be very disciplined, not have penalty. I mean, all those things you do. Same way with the quarterback. I mean, whoever wins that job, he has his characteristics that you have to play. He's got to be great decision-making and accuracy. And maybe we feature throwing a go ball to a post ball. You figure a dig to a hook. I mean, each guy has a different thing. But his decision and accuracy and talents and things like that, they have to, and be able to collectively unite people.
Fans will get a chance to see all 3 QBs this Sunday when the Aggies hold an open practice at 4:30 at Kyle Field. Track and field sophomore Heather Abadi finished 8th in women's pole vault at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships yesterday in Columbia. In England, Lamara Diston advanced to the women's high jump final at the Commonwealth Games, while former A&M national champion Lyndon Victor leads the men's decathlon after day 1. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Looking for the Zone prize rules? Would you like to apply for a job at the Zone? Or need a phone number or email for the Zone? Visit Zone1150.com. Would you like to sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter? Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Or would you like to see the Zone's daily schedule? Visit Zone1150.com. For more information, any questions, to contact us for everything and anything about the Zone, visit Zone1150.com.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio
I
presented.
wouldn't have any idea who this is.
Let's ask him. OB, who's this?
Bad Bunny.
No? Try again. Guy's an actor.
Good Bunny.
Yes. No, this guy's an actor. He is he's been a rapper since day one.
Is it your
He's got deodorant like hanging out of his armpit hair in this video.
Is that Justin Timberlake? I don't know.
No?
Because I know you're a Timberlake fan.
Lovely Ladies.
I know he acts.
Is it Lovely Ladies Love Cool? No. Ladies Love Cool J.
Okay.
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
Yeah. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
He's kind of a jacked up guy like you.
Yeah.
Right?
You can say like me. I'm a skinny little dude that like wears mediums apparently. If you want to be a part of the conversation, a lot of you already are. We'll get to the A&B text line here in a moment. 979-693-1150, or you can also call us up on the BCSI hotline. That same number, 979-693-1150. So let's recap where we are. This morning, I forgot how we got to where we got, but there was a reason we started talking Bama. Do you remember?
Because Ryan Fowler, you're talking about how he put out yesterday 8-4.
Oh, 8-4
Texas
day,
A&M day.
Yeah, and then we started talking about it, and then somebody alerted, the way social media works, alerted Ryan Fowler, and he came back and had an opinion of, look, I respect Olin Buchanan, but I have an opinion on how A&M got to 8-4 and bought that, or something about the recruiting class. And you're like, just have some facts. If you're going to have a microphone on with the red light and everybody can listen, back it up with facts.
What's the facts? What is the evidence? I asked Nick Saban, what evidence do you have? And he clearly had none. And you know what? Sometimes, whether you like it or not, somebody just works hard.
Yeah. And I would.
And
I'm sorry, but I have to bring this up again. The fact that Texas gets this pass with the season that they had, and where they are right now, the season that they had last year, and no big deal. The fact that Jimbo has recruited at this level for years. Now, number one all time, again, there are reasons for it to have happened the way it did. Most of those guys came from Houston, right down the street. Most of those guys picked A&M like they normally would. And then, you know what? We hit a couple home runs. We got Walter Nolan here on the night that A&M beat Alabama. That night he was here, came in this studio that night. That night I saw him and I go, he's going to be an Aggie. He came from across the street with Bobby Taylor. They walked into our studios like, can we get on the air? They got on our post-game wrap, and they had the best time. That's part of the reason. That class started being a top 5 class very early on, and then that win against Alabama. And again, we all know that the Orange Bowl had a lot to do with what A&M was able to do with that recruiting class.
Well, the fact is, if you'll look at it, and if you know recruiting, so much of recruiting is done. In fact, the majority of it is done in a guy's junior year, and all those guys were seeing an A&M team that went 9-1 and should have been in the playoff. Okay, so say, hey, man, what's going on over there? And then the next year, like you said, they had all these people here to see them beat Alabama. You saw all the reactions to it, and then you also saw just what Jimbo's building and what he, just the atmosphere, the facilities, everything that they have here. And kids aren't stupid. Some media is, but kids aren't stupid. They understand that if a quarterback gets hurt, you're probably not going to be as good. They understand, they see what's going on. So, look, there are like 70,000 people come to go to college at Texas A&M. So there must be something good about it.
Yep.
And that's what the issue I have is dimwits that say, well, there's no way they can recruit this well. Well, when they, first of all, like I said, do homework, they were number 3 in the country just 2 or 3 years ago. They've been in the top 10. So in a year when Houston had an inordinate amount of talent, and then on top of that, A&M beat Alabama coming off a season where everybody knows that they should have been in the playoff. They had all these things going. So to say that there's no way they shouldn't have be able to recruit that just shows your own ignorance. And by the way, as I pointed out, Alabama might have had the number 1 recruiting class in the nation in 2008 after going 7-6 in 2007 and losing to Louisiana Monroe.
And you pointed out that was before Saban was known as Saban.
Saban was he had 1 national championship to his credit, and that was at a different program.
Yep.
Who else would that be? Would that
Jimbo Fisher?
Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So, I get it. They got their feelings hurt. It was bad enough that they lost, and then they got beat in recruiting, and obviously they see A&M as a threat, which is one. And some people like Feinbaum like to laugh at that, but why else?
Absolutely a threat.
Then why else is Nick Saban saying, "Hey, we need to get more money from you guys so we can pay players like A&M"? I'd have no evidence, like I think they are.
But just because we can read the tea leaves, we can figure it out. We've heard things undercover.
And
we read sliced bread.
Right. That's what. So you just expect more from when Brady Quinn does something and says something like that, it annoys me because you're supposed to be in the media. But at the same time, look, let's face it. If Brady Quinn had not been a jock that had some success at Notre Dame, and yes, he failed miserably as an NFL quarterback. When I made that tweet, I should have put in NFL quarterback. That's what I meant. I didn't know he had so many Aggies had his back. So he's been a good quarterback. Yeah, in the NFL he failed miserably, but he's just a face and a guy that a name because he played at Notre Dame. So I get it. He's not a real journalist,
right?
But if you're in the media, I think you're supposed to look do some homework.
So I'm gonna
Ryan Fowler does none.
I'm gonna read you some tweets that came your way. One I'm definitely skipping, but I'm gonna read this one. OB, I think I missed something, but was Bama the greatest program before Saban started there? They had their time, absolutely.
Oh, very good program, especially under Bear.
Yep.
But there was a big joke out of Auburn before Gene Stallings won a championship. Says, what does an Alabama fan? I'm not. Wait, I'm going to stop.
You're going to start? Okay.
Yeah, because Bear is revered here, too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it.
Chad tweets at you, Olin, buy the boys some cheese to go with that wine. So you got some of that on Twitter. Let's go to the Social Center. Emily Fiedler's got some text messages for us. And then I want to also close this segment off with some reasons why I think Alabama's vulnerable. We started talking about it, and then we went left and right. So, Fiedler?
Yes, so lots of Olin love here. iDoc Mike says, can't get enough of Olin rants. If I was an audiologist, I'd sponsor Olin Sound Off. Sure do miss that weekly segment.
Yeah, that's because I was doing the work, but somebody else was getting paid for it. But anyway, move on.
Next says, NATO6 number says, I'd vote for Olin to be on with you for 2 hours every day.
Well, we'd lose our FCC license or whatever, but yes, it would be good. It would be very, very good. What else we got, Emily?
Man, Olin is riled up this morning. There was one other one that I saw. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. To Olin's point, this is from Walker in Houston. When we say that Haynes King had been healthy last year, we wouldn't have lost as many games last year. Bama and everyone's response was we should have recruited at quarterback better and had a better backup. Doesn't apply to Bama when the receivers go down in the championship.
Right. And what if I don't want anybody to get hurt. Okay?
No.
For any team. But what if Bryce Young had gotten hurt? I wonder how it would have affected Alabama because they almost lost to Auburn.
Ask Ole Miss how it went when Matt Corral went down.
Right. So, there are those that don't want to, just don't want to acknowledge the facts, the obvious.
I'm going to give you some facts. Since the AP released its preseason poll in 1950, a total of 11 teams have started number one and went on to win the national championship. Alabama's the last to do it. They did it in 2017. But they did not win it all in 2010, 2013, 2016, or 2018. Only twice since 2004 has the preseason number one won the national championship. I say that to you. Who's number one in the country right now?
Probably Alabama.
Alabama's number one in the country. Who do you think is the number one team in the country? Do you think it's Bama?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's who I'd pick.
I pick Ohio State, and I pick that based on what I think Ohio State's going to be able to do this year with their schedule. And I think their defense is going to be fixed. And I can give you some of the reasons. But we started talking about why Alabama might be vulnerable this year. And if the line was suspect last year, they're pretty suspect this year. You can't lose Evan Neal and expect to be significantly better. In fact, you replace him with Tyler Steen, who, again, I don't evaluate Vanderbilt offensive linemen, but we had a Vanderbilt insider who's like, I didn't think he was that good. This week on this show, he's like, I don't know, he's whatever. Maybe at a change of scenery with what's around him, maybe he'll be much better. But based on the Vanderbilt insider, I didn't think he was that good. The wide receivers. I think they lost some guys, OB. I know they've gained some guys, but the guys that they lost, that's significant, right? Jamison Williams, John Mechie, those are like legit superstars.
I'm not sure Jamison Williams isn't the best transfer portal guy ever.
That guy.
The impact that he made.
Absolutely. So Jermaine Burton, I'd be interested to see what he does in Alabama in an offense that really is going to throw it. He might be a superstar. I forget who we had. I think we had our Georgia insider on, and he was like, no, I think Jermaine's going to make some plays for Alabama.
Okay. Is he going to make him like Jamison Williams?
But that's the question. Is he going to make him like Jamison Williams? Saban called it last year a rebuild, but I think that's all relative, OB, because if you don't lose the A&M game, is it really a rebuild? If the talent gap isn't necessarily shrinking because of what A&M is able to put on the defensive line and what they're being able to put on the offensive line, is it a rebuild or is it just a tighter window now? Like now it's, you can't make the same mistakes. Again, it's all relative. Alabama's going to win their share of games. They're going to win 11 games, whatever. They're great. But the margin of error is shrinking because A&M has to be going up. And if Bama has some issues on the offensive line, which I think that they do, and you still have question marks at wide receiver, and I guess you have question marks at running back too, right?
Well, everything I'm hearing out of there is Jahmyr Gibbs, the transfer from Georgia Tech, is just great. He's going to be spectacular, and maybe he will. But he rushed for about 750 yards last year at Georgia Tech. And you can say, yeah, but his offensive line wasn't very good. I say, yeah, but he was running against ACC defenses. So, back and forth with that. I just think that the guy they had last year at running back was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And you're going to tell me Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be better than him? Well, maybe he will be, but I'd be skeptical how much better. I mean, Robinson was good. He rushed for almost 1,400 yards.
I'm trying to find. Oh, yeah, I found it. How many times was Bryce Young? I think Alabama gave up 41 sacks. Ohio State only allowed 17 sacks. So when I talk about why I think Ohio State's right now, to me, looks like the number one team in the country, part of it is I don't think Michigan's going to be as good this year. So somebody on the YouTube page is like, how can you make Ohio State number one? They didn't even make the playoffs last year. No, they didn't make the playoffs last year. Michigan was a better team than them when they played. I don't think they're going to be better than them this year. That's why. I think that they got, what's his name, from Oklahoma State to be their defensive coordinator. One of their big problems was their defense. They got a much better defensive coordinator. I think they're going to be great there. I think, what's his name, Jackson Nigma, he is phenomenal, the wide receiver, 340 yards in the Rose Bowl. Again, they lost guys too.
Yeah, they got plenty of receivers at Ohio State.
They do. Their running back, I think, is Travion Henderson, was a freshman last year, a redshirt freshman. He was fantastic, 1,200 rushing yards.
Yeah, and they'll give him the ball more this year.
And we're going to find out about Ohio State right away. They open up with Notre Dame, and I think they're going to crush a Notre Dame. I do. I believe they're going to crush them.
I would pick Notre. I don't know what the line's going to be, obviously, but I'd probably take Ohio State and give the points.
It was Jim Knowles who came from Oklahoma State, who made an excellent defense there at Oklahoma State. What a phenomenal year. So Michigan, I think, is down. Michigan State, let me know when they start doing something big there. What's the coach's name escaping me right now?
At Michigan State?
Yeah. The guy who's been there for 2 years.
From Colorado. Guy Knight.
Why
am I having trouble today?
I'm like you. I'm having a senior moment. Whatever. He hasn't won anything yet. He had a nice year last year. They haven't won anything here, right?
Mel Tucker.
Mel Tucker. Thank you. Goodness, he almost got the LSU job. I don't know. I apologize. I think Ohio State has, and they have a tough road, but I think they have an easier road than Alabama does. And Alabama's going to still be right in the mix of things. But I think they're vulnerable. I just do.
Well, are they going to be better than last year? Everybody at Alabama says they are, that I've heard in Atlanta and things like that. Yeah, they're going to be better. And I say, okay, all right. Well, the program better than I do because I'm not there every day. But I would say sit down and educate me. So why are they going to be better in the offensive line without 2 starting tackles, including one that was number 9 player taken in the draft and replaced by a guy from Vanderbilt who I'm sure is good, but you're going to be better. Okay, maybe the interior linemen are going to be better run blockers last year. They get better. Okay, all right. are you going to be better at running? Jahmyr Gibbs is so much better than Brian Robinson. Okay, if you say so, you're going to be a better receiver. Well, I brought in the guy from Georgia and the guy from Louisville, and he's really fast. Well, so was the guys that you lost. Mechie, a second-round pick, and Jamison Williams.
Jameson Williams, yeah.
A first-round pick. Well, they're going to be better on defense. Well, maybe they are going to be better on defense. But Christian Harris not their linebacker anymore. Of course, Will Anderson's still there. Dallas Turner's still there. Okay, but they were there last year. Can they get better? Sure, they can get better, but how much better? Especially when one guy was already said to be, this is the best defensive player in the country.
So if I were to look at the SEC West and we go through all the teams real quick, are they better or worse? Is Alabama better or worse? I'd say they are what they were last year. Ballpark.
Okay, yeah,
okay.
Better on defense, probably not as explosive on offense.
Texas A&M, better or worse than last year?
I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be significantly better.
LSU, better or worse?
They're going to be better. They're going to be better just because they're going to be coached.
Mm-hmm. Ole Miss.
I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year.
Arkansas.
I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year.
Mississippi State.
Probably about the same.
Auburn.
But if I have to say better or worse, I'll say worse. Auburn, I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year.
And they weren't very good last year. Well, at least at the end of the season, they weren't very good. So you look at the SEC, and Alabama may be the same or worse. Maybe they're better. I mean, if they win the national championship, they're obviously better. But there's a few teams in the SEC West that I think are taking a step back, and there's a few like Arkansas. I can make an argument for better. I can make an argument for worse. I can make an argument they're the exact same team that they were last year. I think the argument with Texas A&M easily is they'll be better on offense. And defense, they should be able to hold serve with what they have in secondary and the adjustments and the new guys on the defensive line.
Yeah. I think, when we talk about who's better or worse, you got to give me reasons, concrete, valid reasons why you think a team's going to be better. And I just don't see the reasons that Alabama are going to be better. Now, I'm not there every day, right? Mm-hmm. And the reasons how come I don't see it is because I don't see the guys that are going to replace Jamison Williams and John Mechie to that same degree. You can tell me Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a better running back than Brian Robinson, but I got to see it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. This is what we call August talk. When I got a couple games of film and I've seen Haynes or Max and I see how Devon as the main guy goes and how Diggs is doing there, I could alter my opinion higher for A&M. I could maybe temper my expectations. The same thing goes for Alabama. I've got to see how that offensive line holds up, and they'll have a challenge when they take on Texas in week 2. I will be rooting for the team from the SEC that weekend.
I don't think. Again, I don't follow that team all the time, but I know people that do, and they tell me that they don't expect that defense at Texas to be that great. What I think is going to be a problem for Texas in that game is an offensive line that hasn't been very good, and they think they're going to be so much better because of a couple of true freshmen. Mm-hmm. And they probably will be better for a couple of true freshmen. But when you're asking, and the same thing applies to A&M, when you're asking for true freshmen to make a huge difference, that's a huge gamble. And especially when you're asking a true freshman offensive tackle to block Will Anderson.
Yep.
Now, A&M's had one, and he did it very well last year. So maybe the Texas guy will too.
And I guess, and you could look at the rundown, I was going to do 8-4 as the part of the talking point here at this point because it was all about yesterday. That was what I saw on social media. I think we've beat that to a dead horse, and we're going to move on.
Okay.
OB, great work as always. Those of you who want to text the show, A&B text line is open, 979-693-1150, or you can call us up on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. BCS Together invites you to support vulnerable kids and play in their charity golf tournament on Monday, August 15th at Pebble Creek Country Club. Visit bcstogether.org to learn more. The Better Business Bureau chapter that serves Brazos County is accepting nominations for this year's Torch Awards, which recognize businesses that demonstrate ethical practices. Nomination information is online at bbb.org/syntax-torch. The BCS Chamber of Commerce has partnered with the local blood bank to host a blood drive at the Eagle on Tuesday, August 16th. Find a link to sign up for an appointment on our community calendar at WTAW.com. You can listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Listen to TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, Chip Howard, or ESPN Radio, plus all your favorite A&M teams online at RadioAggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Optimum Mobile wants those good summertime vibes to last all year with big savings. Get 1 gigabyte of data for just $5 a month for the first 12 months. And because Optimum Mobile is on the network outperforming Verizon with the best 5G availability, you can keep those good summer feelings going. Because you'll stay connected at the beach, at the park, at the barbecue, and on the road. Really, anywhere you go this summer. With Optimum Mobile, you get 5G access included, plus unlimited talk and text at a great value. Maybe that's why Optimum Mobile was voted #1 in customer satisfaction by our customers. Get closer with mobile savings and go farther all year long with mobile service for $5 a month for 12 months. Learn more at Optimum.com/summer5 or visit your local Optimum store today. 1 gigabyte plan, $5 a month for first 12 months. $20 activation fee applies. Then auto renews at standard monthly rates. Offer subject to discontinuance or change at any time while supplies last. 5G not available in all areas. Other terms and conditions apply.
New message.
Hey, man, it's Devin. You know, from that time you accidentally emailed me because you thought I was a different Devin. Oh, and your email signature said confidential. If you receive this in error, please delete. That's so you. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat. When are we setting sail, Captain?
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Oh, and no, you did not receive this message in error.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
The football season begins when I say it begins. It begins with my SEC preview, Monday, August 8th at 4:30. The SEC football preview is presented by First Financial Bank and Maria Mia Tex-Mex Cantina. Each weekday afternoon for 3 weeks, we'll take a look at one SEC team with interviews and analysis. Then on the final day, the most listened to radio program in the world, my predictions. Tune in each weekday afternoon for the SEC football preview right here on The Zone.
All right, it's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got a couple text messages to get to here in a moment on the A&B text line. I do want to remind you guys, this is like your last weekend to jump on this amazing opportunity here through David Gardner's Jewelers. I guess the 6th, so tomorrow's the last day to enter this Aggie Game Day experience. Engagement rings purchased between July 21st and August 6th, which is Saturday, are entered to win. Swing by today or learn more and make an appointment using the website, davidgardnersjewelers.com. That is how you can get all that good stuff right there. And so we'll be making sure that we're sending people there to David Gardner's Jewelers to get hooked up. I saw a text there that I looked at and kind of caught me off guard, so I'm going to move on. I did want to read something. I saw this yesterday being reported, and then I saw it a little bit on the boards, and I didn't really make much of it. But Tyler Van Dyke, the quarterback for the University of Miami, he held court yesterday, just a little media, and he talked when asked about the A&M game and why he's so excited about it. He said, big SEC school, and I feel like we can really prove a point at the beginning of the season. Some people looked at that as like a shot at A&M or anything, but that's exactly what the quarterback of a team should be saying. It's a big SEC school, an opportunity to make a point. I don't think they're going to make that point, but that is the truth. If Miami were to do something big that day, that would be a huge point. I think they're about to learn the difference, or this version of Miami, learn the difference between ACC and SEC and how much of a jump it is. But I don't find those comments at all to be, bulletin board material as I saw out there. He's a good quarterback. I want to see how he does against some top-notch teams, and the Ags are going to have to play really good football against Miami to win that game. And I think they will do that. But Tyler, as OB has pointed out on several occasions, hasn't really taken on many top defenses. So it'll be interesting to see how that game plays out. That's really, you've got some games before the Bama game, and that is certainly one of the big ones before that Bama game you've got to be ready for. If you're going to talk about those, you've got to think about the Miami game and obviously the Arkansas game the week after to get you ready, and Mississippi State as well. All right, phone lines open, 979-693-1150. Let's go back to the news and social center. I know Jim in Temple, Dale in Tabor, Luis in Houston all got some things for us. Emily?
Yes. So Dale says, backup quarterback, don't understand the argument that A&M should have had a better backup last year. When Ken Hill imploded, we had 2 5-star backups. One won a Heisman, both made NFL rosters. Neither got it done that year. How much more talent could you have on the bench? The starter couldn't play, and that was that, just like last year.
So, again, about last year, you may think you have it, but the guys got to prove it, right? And Zach Calzada proved it on one evening, a magical night. For the most part, lackluster. But it wasn't just on him, as OB pointed out. I mean, the O-line took a while to grow. You had injuries throughout, not just at quarterback. I mean, you did not expect to start Bryce Foster right away. Was he going to work his way into the starting unit? Probably, but he had to be thrown in there early on, and it changed things. And the fact that the offense was so one-dimensional allowed other teams to attack A&M differently. They couldn't go down the field. I mean, no Caleb Chapman last year for the most part really hurt this team. Chase Lane getting hurt really hurt this team. Hez Jones getting hurt. That's a veteran player right there. Hurt this team. There are several examples of Miles Jones getting hurt. Like, that hurt this team. Now, are they going to be better for it this year? Hopefully so. The fact that Ruben and Bryce got through those fires and Tyreek Chappelle had to grow up real fast. Absolutely. But that did hurt you last season. Emily's trying to get one more in.
Yes, so Lewis in Houston says Alabama will be worse because being a Houston Texans fan, we know how Bill O'Brien can slowly ruin teams and franchises.
There is that. It's funny. Somebody asked me yesterday, like, why would Alabama have hired Bill O'Brien? And I'm like, it doesn't really matter who they hire. They've got a system in place. They've picked guys that you could say had a checkered background for sure. Lane, who's a dynamic offensive mind, but there was like some questions. Why is Nick hiring him? Sark, he's good offensive mind, but he had failed at a couple spots and had some other issues out there. So it doesn't really matter what they do there. I do hope that OB is calling the plays against A&M though. That I do hope. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll get into some actual football talk with Chris Taylor on the BCSI hotline. Is that and more. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
It's like when they replaced Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince. David Nuño on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $12.99 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI.